Right then, lads, welcome back to Kossi's Arsenal podcast. My name is Kossi. We are back again with another match reaction. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Do smash a like on the video. Do subscribe to the channel. Arsenal have beaten Spurs, Tottenham Hotspur in the North London derby of this season, 3-1. And what a performance! What an absolute beauty of a performance. I think this is one of the games where we're gonna we're gonna find it very hard to pick a man of the match. But tell me in the comments, in the comment box below, whether you're watching live, you're watching on replay, who was your man of the match? Who do you think deserves to be man of the match in this game? An absolute beauty, a fantastic performance from Arsenal, one that I think just puts Mikel Arteta off the hook. We will talk about Mikel Arteta in a minute because I think this is a performance that just gives him the freedom, to act as a manager now, under the perimeters that he wants. He's got his team. He has put it together. He's getting the lineups right. Maybe we've got to give some credit to Mikel Arteta at some point in time. But what about the players? What about the likes of Martin Odegaard? What about the likes of Saka? What about the likes of Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, who I think absolutely had a very good game in this game? So the big question for me is, who was your man of the match in this game? But then the other one is, I would love to know, I would love to hear from you exactly who do you give the credit in this game? Is it Mikel Arteta? Because I think he was absolutely spot on throughout the 90 minutes, the game management, the way we started the game, actually, the way we were picking out, the pockets of space. I think Mikel really did a very good job in preparing the team for this game. Again, think about the likes of Saka, think about the likes of Martin Odegaard, and think about the likes of Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang and Thomas Partey. Who do you give the credit in this game? And of course, I'll dive into that, at a much bigger stage. So this is how we started out. It was a very complicated, I think I should say it was a very complicated game just to start with. It was a North London derby, and of course, North London derbies are never easy games. It's always going to be one of those hardest games you're going to play in a season, especially if you Arsenal. So this is how we started out. This is how Mikel selected the lineup. Aaron Ramsdale was in goal. Kian Tierney, Gabriel Magalhaes, Ben White, and Takehiro Tomiyasu, who I think absolutely had a very good game with Ben White. We played a midfield pivot of two. Granit Xhaka. There is a big question. There was a big question at the beginning of the match whether Xhaka deserved to start right away, coming back from suspension, and then he just walks into the side. But I think, he had a very good game today. So Granit Xhaka and Thomas Partey played in that midfield pivot. In front of them, a midfield three of Emile Smith-Rowe, Martin Odegaard, and Bukayo Saka, with Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang as the lone striker, with such a beauty for a goal. Spurs, on the other side, they had Hugo Lloris in goal. They played with they started with Jaffen Tanganga, Davinson Sanchez, Eric Dyer, and Sergio Reguilon in a back four. A midfield three of Dele Alli, Pierre-Emerick Højbjerg, and Tanga Ndombele, who I think really lost the game in the first half. Lucas Moura, Harry Kane, who was absolutely invisible in the game, and Heung-min Son, who did actually score for them. But apart from that, I don't think he actually did much in the game. So the big question, guys, that we have to ask, we have to ask, in here is: has Arsenal found their boat? Have Mikel Arteta and Arsenal found their form? Because it's a big question. Have we finally found our form? Is this the Arsenal that we're gonna see throughout the season? Because for me, I'd love to know, and I want to know. That's the kind of Arsenal I want to see. That's the kind of Arsenal you want to see game in, game out. The kind of Arsenal that passes well. The kind of Arsenal that exploits the enemy. The kind of Arsenal that plays at a very high pace. The kind of Arsenal that just does things right. The basics. you can't believe, and I can't believe it either. I mean, this is a little bit ridiculous because I really know we should be doing this, but you can't believe that Arsenal got the basics right in that game. We absolutely got the basics right, and that's what that's one of the things I've always asked for. For Arsenal to do, get the basics right. Passing should be right, defending should be right, and at least if you're going, if you're attacking, you've got to show some bit of threats, and I think we absolutely did that today. The lineup, just to start by commenting on the lineups, I think Mikel is finding his 11. Now, I don't know whether this is our best 11, but I think it is close. It's absolutely close. Pepe is dropped. I still think Pepe is useless in this game. So credit to Mikel Arteta. And you can see Smith Rowe plays in, for Pepe, and he actually gets an 8.0 rating from SofaScore, but actually he also scores the goal. Saka on the other side and Martin Odegaard, who I don't agree with the 6.7 or 6.7 rating. He was absolutely ridiculously good. I mean, all the goals that we got, all the goals that we scored is Martin Odegaard getting in those spaces where he has to be, in those dangerous areas where he has to be. And, there is no way you're going to score goals if your creative masterpiece, who's Martin Odegaard for us, actually doesn't get in those spaces. And I think we will have a lot to speak about. We have a lot to speak about when it comes to Thomas Partey and his role, and his role towards the likes of Saka, Smith Rowe, Martin Odegaard, and Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, because he just gives them that kind of cushion, especially to Martin Odegaard. He gives them that, he gives him that kind of cushion, that liberty, that license, that permission, that permit to go forward and create a lot of beautiful things. So, just moving out of the way, let's see what were the statistics in this game. I think Arsenal absolutely did very, very well in terms of statistics. Ball possession, we had 47%. They had 53%. But if we look at the first half, right? If we look at the first half, because much of our work was done in the first half, and that speaks volumes. By the way, that speaks volumes. It speaks it speaks about the fact that we have already said it. Arsenal need to start games on the front foot. We will talk about the next games coming on, but the more we go ahead, right? The more we go ahead, the harder it becomes. We are playing Brighton. Brighton are among the table leaders in the league right now. So we're playing Brighton next at the moment. That is our next game. Brighton. They're never easy, They've got the likes of Enoch Mwepu, they've got the likes of Yves Bissouma, the likes of Neil Maupay, Trossard, and a couple of other players. So you've got to be wary of them, right? So you've got to start games on the front foot, and we absolutely did that in this game. Arsenal started way on the front foot. Everybody was just like, wow, this is the Arsenal we want to see. This is kind of the football we want to see. So if you look at our halftime statistics, right? If you look at our halftime statistics, 55% ball possession, and Spurs had 45%. We had 6 total shots, 6 shots in total. They had 4. We had 4 shots on target and scored 3 goals. That's it. That's what you have to do. We'll talk about the goals. We'll talk about the positives and the negatives in the game. But that's it. Start on the front foot. 4 shots on target, 3 goals. Spurs had 1. So we beat them by far in that area, right? We had a shot on target. They had 3. We had 1 shot blocked. They had none. We had 1 corner kick. They had 2 at half time. But what I want to tell you, what I want to show you at half time is big chances created. 2 big chances created at halftime, right? And that's what you see. That is Smith Rowe. That's a big chance. He scores it. And again, Smith Rowe creating for Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. That's a big chance. And Aubameyang scores it, right? And now we are in position 10 on the table, right? So 2 big chances created at halftime. that shows you how well we started. Right, goalkeeper saves 1, shots outside the box, 2. But I love the Thomas Partey effort. Should have gone in. Should have gone in. Thomas Partey absolutely getting in there. Should have scored that, right, Partey? Should have scored that. But that is talk for another day. Probably he will score on another effort. Counter attacking, counter attack goals. We had 1. Counter attack shots. We had 1. And counter attacks. We had 1. So we were very, very clinical. At halftime. So halftime, Arsenal recorded 264 passes. That shows you 86 passing accuracy. Long balls, we had 90. We had 33, and 19 of them were accurate. And then crosses, we had 5 crosses. 3 of them were absolutely accurate. So I loved it. We started off well. It was more of an Arsenal side that was well and prepared. It happens all the time. It absolutely happens all the time. There are instances where you are a team that just blows up, right? They just blows up. I think we usually play this kind of football against Chelsea. We just blow up on them. We just blow up. And I think we blew up on Tottenham Hotspur, especially in the first minute. So let us look at the table now. Where are we on the table? And you can see how far we've come. So really, not really much, especially in terms of where we are. But we are coming close. We are absolutely coming close, right? So 3 games now. It is 3 games, 3 wins, 9 out of 9 points, right? We've scored 5 goals in 3 games and conceded just 1. That means we will talk about Aaron Ramsdale in a minute, because I think his save absolutely keeps us in the game. Yeah, right? He keeps us in the game. So Arsenal have climbed the table until 10th. That is where we are. Until 10th, right? Until 10th. Unless otherwise. Actually, no unless otherwise. Until next weekend, we shall be 10th on the table. We have collected 9 points out of 5 games and scored 5 goals and conceded 10. But what is very interesting, is that there is how many points are these? 9 plus 3, that's 12, right? So there is a 3-point gap between Arsenal sitting in 10th and Brighton sitting in position 6 on the table. And actually, there is a 4-point gap, right, between Manchester City and Arsenal. Manchester City are second. So, look, the season is still young. The season is still very, very young. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to be an advocate of hope. I'm trying to create some hope that maybe Arsenal could finish in the top 6 positions or in the top in the top 7. It's too early to feel obliged to finish there because of the football, but we are 5 points from up the table. 5 points. We lost our first 3 games. That means we were 9 points off the table leaders, right? Now we are 5 points off the table leaders, and it's going to get more interesting. We are going to lose games, and everybody knows that. So I don't want anyone to say, you know what, Kosi, you're absolutely negative. We are still going to lose a lot of games, around 4, or 5 games, in the season. It's still a very, very young season. But one thing you've got to acknowledge in this one is that Arsenal have played absolutely brilliantly well in this game. We're gonna go in now into individual performances, but before we do, I want to give a shout out to 5 players, actually 4 players and the manager. I'll start off with Mikel Arteta. I think Mikel, yes, he's got things wrong. We have blamed him for getting things wrong. This one, the last 3 games, he's got things right. I don't know whether it is the pressure, because the pressure has been there, and that's why I want to give him loads and loads of credit for the past 3 games. One is he's done this under a lot, actually under immense pressure, but also with a group of players that has been new. A group of players that has not been together for so long. There's so many newcomers in that Arsenal side, and all of us do know that. There's so many newcomers in that Arsenal side. Very, very many. So, it's 1 point you give to him as a manager. He's doing it under immense pressure, right? He's doing it under immense pressure, but also, leave alone the fact that he's doing it under a little pressure, but he's also getting these results with a group of new players that have not been playing together. Ramsdale is a new goalkeeper. Ben White is a new entrant in that defense, as well as Tomiyasu. Odegaard was here last season, but we will count him as a new player. Thomas Partey for me is new. He has not actually formed the chemistry and rhythm, with the rest of the team because of the inconsistency, especially caused by injuries. And then but just look at how he's getting football out of them. And we're talking about a young team that lacks experience, a young team that lacks pedigree, and a young team that absolutely should not be beating Spurs. Of course, we will talk about Spurs maybe later, because they were not good enough. They were not good enough, and that's why I won't really get carried away, because of that. But it's a North London derby, right? But I think a lot of credit goes to Mikel Arteta. But let's give credit to 4 players from which we will select our man of the match, right? So one is Saka. Saka scored a beauty, an absolute beauty. He should have had 2 assists, because the first one, before he scores, he's looking out for a beautiful pass for Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. Aubameyang is in the space. I think he would have scored that. But Harry Kane tracks back very well. So Saka, unlucky, he can't make the pass. But the ball falls kindly for him, and it's on his right foot. I don't know whether it is his strongest, but of course we know it is never his strongest foot. He's just that kind of player that loves to use his left foot. We know that. But the ball kindly falls on his right foot, and he finds the back of the net. Beautiful stuff, Bukayo Saka. But talk about the assist he makes for Emile Smith-Rowe. That is where it gets more interesting. That is where you speak about intelligence and class and absolute beauty from this young lad. He is the heart of Arsenal. He is the heart of the system. Saka is the heart. Yes, it's a good pass to look out for. It's a very, very good pass. To look out for him. I think it's a very, very fantastic pass. I think it's from Martin Odegaard. And then Saka dashes inside and then finds Emile Smith. Poor defending though from Spurs. They should have done a little bit better than that, especially David Tanganga, because I think should be blocking that. Yeah, he should be blocking that. But forget that, right? Forget that. Saka, the assist and the goal, absolutely brilliant. But he kept on being a threat throughout the game until he was pulled off. Then Smith-Rowe, another one, scored a very, very beautiful goal. Very beautiful goal. Yeah, because that is what I'm saying. That's what we are saying. Pepe needs to get in those areas more, or otherwise he loses his place. That's it, right? Pepe needs to get in those areas a little bit more, or he loses his place to the likes of Smith-Rowe. That's it. Because what Smith-Rowe does is he's arriving as the cross is arriving, right? He's arriving as the cross is arriving. Beautiful, beautiful run from Emile Smith-Rowe. And nobody's going to acknowledge that, right? Nobody's going to acknowledge that. But the run is expensive. The run is absolutely expensive. So the first goal for me, Smith-Rowe, and of course he sets up. He does set up. He sets up actually makes 2 assists, if I'm not really uh, mistaken, because he sets up Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, doesn't he? Beautiful, again, a very beautiful cutback cross, and Aubameyang, with, of course, the best finisher in the league has to do that, right? But Smith Rowe has been impressive for the 87 minutes he spent on that game. Absolutely impressive. The goal is a masterclass. But for me, you know what? I don't care anything. I don't, it doesn't matter to me. The goal doesn't matter to me. It doesn't. It doesn't. It's the assist he makes for Bukayo Saka that is multi-million dollar. It's a compression. It's an absolute compression because he's in the middle of the park and he has a couple of options, but he makes an expensive, well-weighted, timed cross to Bukayo Saka. Saka runs in. Ken tries to track back. There's a lot of space. The ball falls kindly for Saka, and then he finds the back of the net. That's the kind of football I want to see against Brighton, right? Yes, they're table leaders, and if we beat them, right? If we beat them, we have a chance to come into. We are already into top 10. If we beat them, we have a chance to overtake Brentford. That's what I want to see. Overtake Brentford, overtake Aston Villa. I think Villa are lucky to be above us. They've beaten Manchester United. It's a great job for them because for us because they stop United and maybe we could catch them. United matters to me on the table than any other team, right? So Smith Rowe, player number 2. Would you give him man of the match? Would you give it to Saka? I don't know. Number 3 is one that I really always pick on. One of my best players in the team, but I always pick on him, right? It's Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, speak about him. The goal is masterclass. But look at the build-up of the goal, and then you will understand that he knows some football, right? He knows some football. The way we've been playing is actually restrictive, and I said it in the last game against Burnley, and I said in the 6 things we learned. I said we've got to create more, right? We've got to create more. That is, this kind of bullshit, this kind of crap where you just create 1 chance, 2 chances, for a striker. It's not enough. It's not good enough. Absolutely, it's not good enough. You've got to create chances for Aubameyang. And you've got to create chances that are good enough. We got him from Borussia Dortmund, and one of the things from Dortmund is when they create chances, they create beautiful chances. Right? I know many of you do not watch the German Bundesliga, but I support Dortmund there. I love Dortmund as a team. Ever since I think around 2010, I've been following Dortmund, and they are just that team that I'm fit to support. They're just good. They're absolutely very, very good. So coming from a club like Borussia Dortmund, where Aubameyang gets chances to run, a chance to play, to play the tic-tac, a chance to finish off well-laid passes. When it comes at Arsenal, he's never going to score those goals if you do not create them. Look at the assist from Emile Smith-Rowe and look at the finish. Aubameyang, he's in the right area. He just beats the defender easily and finds the bottom corner. Hugo Lloris, absolutely no chance in that one. Absolutely no chance on that one. So I thought Aubameyang had a very, very good game. The flick on for Smith Rowe, right? Yeah, in the build-up for the 3rd goal. Because I think it is Xhaka who overturns Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. Should it have been a foul? I don't know. Xhaka overturns Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang and then makes the pass, I think, to Aubameyang. Aubameyang flicks it on for Emile Smith-Rowe in space. Smith-Rowe gets into the penalty area, cuts it back, and what a goal by Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. So player number 3 is Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, and player number 4, I think I'm gonna give credit to 2 players, right? And the first one is Martin Odegaard, but the other is Thomas Partey. I'll give them credit, but I'll give credit to both of them. Now, Partey was not really bossy in the midfield. I didn't see the bossy kind of type in the midfield, but I did see it from Martin Odegaard. Absolutely bossed them. He absolutely destroyed them. Absolutely. Because, right, just a minute. Just a minute. If you look at what Spurs wanted to do, they played a midfield three, and I think it was a big mistake. Very, very big mistake. They played a midfield three, and you had Martin Odegaard, Thomas Partey, and Granit Xhaka picking out all the space, getting into all the space, occupying all the space in the midfield, and there was absolutely nothing Pierre-Emile Højbjerg, Tanga Ndombele, and Dele Alli could do in that game. And you see, whenever they opened themselves up, because we passed the ball at a very, very terrific speed. Whenever they opened themselves out, we absolutely destroyed them. Martin Odegaard getting in those spaces where you want him to be, because he picks out the pass for Saka, and Saka lays it for Emile Smith-Rowe, right? So if you can get Odegaard more in those spaces, it's gonna make a lot of sense. It's really gonna make a lot of sense. The same goes with Emile Smith-Rowe. Pepe didn't play in this game. I think Pepe was useless because it was not a game of running, at people. It was a game of playing in spaces, right? Occupy the space, identify the space and make use of it, right? And I think, I just think there was absolutely no use for Nicola Pepe in this game. I don't think he was useful. Unless anyone thinks otherwise, because we do have different opinions. But I think for Pepe, on another day, right? On another day. But on this one, not really my man. Not really my man. So let us go into the individual performances of these players and see who was absolutely man of the match. Right. Let's start off with Aaron Ramsdale. Ramsdale, what a sharp save from of course it is Lucas Moura in the second half, and what a save by Aaron Ramsdale. Does Leno get to that? Guys, tell me. Let's discuss in the comment section. Lucas Moura powers it, absolutely goes for power there, right? He goes for power, and Ramsdale's like, no, I've already conceded against Son. I'm not conceding another goal. I'm not conceding another one, right? I'm not conceding another one. That is $1 million save. That is a save that explains why a club like Arsenal goes out to pay 28 million for a relegated goalkeeper and plays him in a North London derby, right? He's only, just to remind you, he's only 23 years of age. He's only 23 years of age. He's so good, man. He's so good. Man of the match against Burnley. Not man of the match in this game, definitely. No one should tell me he's man of the match. I would give it to Takehiro Tomiyasu because I think he does well with Ben White to stop Harry Kane. They keep him out of the game, totally. Keep him quiet. But Ramsdale, very, very good game. I think, I think there are two saves that caught my attention. One from, the ball from Lucas Moura. It did get to my attention, and the other is the ball from Heung-min Son, right? Heung-min Son in the first half, near post, right? Son again goes for absolute power, and Aaron Ramsdale, strong hands there, very, very strong hands. In the first instance against Son, he absolutely goes for power. Just gets his fingers together and puts it out, blocks it. But again, against Lucas Moura, he goes for technique. It is his fingertips, right? It is his fingertips. And what I love about that is he first goes, I think, with his left arm, and it is short. He doesn't get to that. And it's like, right, I'll try again in the same moment, and goes with his right arm and then pushes it onto the woodwork. What a save. What a save. Team of the week. I think he just qualifies for team of the week. Aaron Ramsdale, qualifies for team of the week. I think he should. Apart from Benjamin Mendy, I don't think I'm going for another goalkeeper. I'll try to see how they perform, but I think Ramsdale goes for team of the week, or or at least should be back up, right? Ben White, another good performance from Ben White. They're playing well with Gabriel Magalhaes, very, very well. So Gabriel, Ben White, really love the performance. I hope the boys can keep it up. Kian Tierney as well, not a bad performance at all. Not a bad performance at all. Takero Tomiyasu. You know what is interesting about Tomiyasu is his solidity. That is what I think that's the most interesting part of him. His solidity. Is a very, very solid player. And I think he does the escorting well for Bukayo Saka, because whenever Saka wants to fall back, there is always Martin Odegaard or Tahikiro Tomiyasu. He doesn't really cross in. He doesn't really cross in. We are never gonna lie. It's an Arsenal podcast, so we can speak the truth. He doesn't really cross in well. But the truth is, he's good. Thomas Partey and Granit Xhaka, there's nothing you can say about them. No, nothing. No, nothing you can say about them. Partey played, did his thing. The passing was fine. The tackles were okay. Same with Granit Xhaka, by the way. He's injured. I don't know how long it's gonna take, but I don't care, because I do have Albert Sambi-Lokonga, who I think should be playing in that area there. So I'm not really concerned with the injury. Emil Smith-Rowe, my absolutely very, very beautiful. In that game as well. Very, very, very good. Very good. The goal and the assist. What else do you want from him? So, he scored. Saka should be man of the match. Odegaard, you could give him man of the match. I could care less. And Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, captain. If you give him man of the match, still, I would absolutely care less. So I would love to know, I would love to hear from you people. What exactly, are your thoughts? What do you think about the game? Did we play well? What are the positives? I'm going to do the positives and the negatives, but what are the positives you picked out? What are the negatives you picked out? As I do read your comments, I'll be going through the positives and the negatives in the game. Make sure you do smash a like on the video. Make sure you do subscribe to the Ridiculous channel as well, right? Make sure you do, subscribe to that Ridiculous channel, right? It absolutely means means a lot, right? So, among the positives that I picked out, I did pick out a couple of them. As we go through your comments, we should be looking at some of the positives in the game. One of the positives I looked at is Smith-Rowe, Odegaard, Partey, and Saka. We could look. Every team has a pattern. Every team has a pattern. Whether it's United, Greenwood, Bruno, Pogba, and then Ronaldo, that's their pattern. Salah, Mane, Firmino or Jota, Henderson, that's Liverpool, right? Chelsea, I mean, Lukaku, you could have Lukaku, Havertz, Kante, Jorginho, right? Every team has a structure. I mean, it's not really a pattern. It's a structure, right? And I really love and admire Leicester City. I really admire their structure, because the reason that's why I love their structure is they have just built something, and whenever they come into a game, they just execute their structure. So with Leicester City, you're talking about Ndidi, you're talking about Tillemans and Vardy and Barnes, right? Those are the most important players there. Now, I think we have started to get our most important players. But what I take as a very good positive is I think our structure has more than one or two players, or three. More than four players. We have found a structure. Listen to me very well. I'm not saying Arsenal has finally done it. Arsenal has finally achieved it. Arsenal is unbeatable. Things like that. I'm not saying that crap, and I'm not committing myself to that crap, right? But what I'm saying is that we have found a structure. We have found a way forward. Now, if Partey is fit, with Odegaard, with Saka, with Smith Rowe, with and then you have Ben White and Gabriel, and Tomiyasu. That is our structure, right? Now, is the reason that's why I'm calling it a structure. He's never gonna bench Partey, is it? He's never gonna put Partey on the bench unless he's crazy, unless absolutely crazy. He's never gonna put Partey on the bench unless he's crazy. He's never gonna put Odegaard on the bench unless he's injured or crazy. So those two form the structure in the midfield, right? Then you have Gabriel and White, who they cannot be benched again. So they form the structure in the defense with Tomiyasu. Now we have a decent goalkeeper, who is Aaron Ramsdale. Should be getting more games now, Aaron Ramsdale. 6 players with Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, 7. We have 7 players. Actually, with Saka now, we have 8 players that form our structure. Big up to Mikel. Big up to Mikel. Even if he gets fired now, he's done something sensible. The team has structure, right? Because at the beginning of the season, we played Kolasinac, Holding, and Chambers in the same team. That showed that we do not have a structure. That showed that we were just gambling. But this is not gambling. 3 games in a row, a team that is so similar, right? And I feel very, 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 I just feel pitiful from Nicola Pepe, because where is he gonna play? Where's he gonna play? Saka is now making himself. He's trying to achieve the status of a key member in the structure, right? Every team has a structure, and Arsenal have just formed their structure. 3 games, I think that is our structure. Even if we lose 10 games, it's never gonna change. So I feel a little bit, pitiful for Pepe. I feel pitiful for Gabi Martinelli, and I think I blame Mikel for that, because the moment you're 3 goals up, players like Gabi need time, right? But it's a positive. We've got ourselves a structure. Make sure you do clap your hands if you know the meaning and how important the structure is, because it's very, very important. It's very, very important that a team gets a structure, right? Bab says Arteta seems to be living up to his request for time. For time, plead to the fan base. From observation, I see some confidence restored in the team. Your observations are absolutely not wrong. Yeah. They're absolutely not wrong. And I was the same man, and I'm still the same man who thinks Arsenal need a better manager. That's never going to change for me. It's never going to change. It will only change and then if Arteta stays in the next 3 years, right, and then he becomes that experienced manager who spent around half a decade on the coaching scene, on the managerial scene, probably it could change. But I still think Arsenal will do better, or would do better, if we had someone like Antonio Conte, right, or someone like Zinedine Zidane. I think it would do better. We would do better. But you're not wrong, Babs. You're absolutely not wrong. He's asked for time. He's under pressure. That is one thing I love it. It's one thing I've loved about him. And it's one thing I really love about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, right? It's one thing I love about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He's always under pressure. He's always under pressure, and he's delivering. He is delivering. So it's a positive. It's a very, very big positive, right? But the question we will ask as Arsenal fans, and by the end of the season, actually half the season, we will have answered this question: have we won these games because it is Norwich, Spurs, and Burnley, or have we won these games because the team is playing beautiful football and we are being promised something good? My opinion at the moment is it is mixed reactions. One, we beat Norwich. Norwich have lost to Everton ever since we beat them, and they've also lost to Watford, right? We beat Burnley. Burnley, did they beat Leicester City? Was it 2-2? I think it was 2-2, right? Was it 2-2? Was it 3-2? I need to get that right. But I think they got a point against Leicester City. So Burnley was never an easy game, right? Then come forward, we've beaten Spurs. Spurs, we have beaten a very poor Spurs, right? Beaten a very, very poor Spurs at the Emirates Stadium. So the jumping should start with Brighton. Because for me, I have all reason to celebrate if we beat Brighton. I have all reasons to go naked. I do. Because Brighton have started off well. Have they lost one game only this season against Everton? And I think they were absolutely crap. They're absolutely crap in that game. But the rest, they have been so good. Right? They've been so good, very solid. They're finding the back of the net. That was their problem last season, finding the back of the net. Of course, I don't believe, Danny Welbeck should be their striker, but at least they're doing it. So Mikel, it's just the beginning. We will get into his press conference, press conferences. I know he's jumping around, but for me, it is 5 more games. If we go into the international break, among the top 10, probably we could be 9th or 8th. When we come back from the international break, we will have the likes of Liverpool. We will have the likes of Aston Villa. We will have the likes of Crystal Palace, right? Can we continue the ride? Can we continue the ride? That's it. That's what we are asking for. Can we continue that? Can we continue the good performances? And if we can, there is absolutely no reason why Arsenal doesn't get to be one of the best teams there, in the Premier League. Because we are resting, we are resting. But shout out to you for giving Mikel the credit. I should have given him the credit, but we need to sign in wingers. And number 8, Lars, second Chris. All right. Kosi, back to our form now, and our defense was good. Yeah, a lot of credit will go to the defense. A lot of credit will go to that defense. They absolutely played well. Absolutely played well. A goal and assist for the man, Smith Rowe. And second chance. He was so good. He was so good. He was absolutely very, very good. Very, very, very good. All right. Yeah, of course, people would love to call in, and really don't have any issues with that. Anyone who wants to call in, link is in the comment section. Call in and give me your match reaction and tell me what you think about the game. Arteta closed out the game in the second half. It should have gone to get more goals. I think that is where you give him the credit. I think that's where I give him even more credit, right? Because in the second half, Spurs, he knew that Spurs were coming back. They had nothing to lose. So you don't open yourself like, you just don't open yourself like a prostitute. What you do is try to close up, try to make it hard for Spurs. And he did it. We made it hard for Spurs. We were absolutely strong, right? We were absolutely, absolutely strong. So really don't have any issues with that, with them. Kosi, yeah, I've started to see some chemistry in the team. I mean, structure is coming. That bond in the defense and forward is promising. Yeah, it's promising, but the results have to. We need to get more results, right? We need to get more results. 1 game, 2 games, 3 games is not enough. It doesn't get you top 10. It doesn't get you top 5. We need to more. But the bond is there. The bond is there, right? Okay. Victor says ESR for man of the match. I think he deserves the 10 jersey. He's good. He's good. I think Saka deserves the 7 jersey. Smith Rowe, I did have my questions whether he was ready for that jersey, whether he had done enough to put on the jersey. Don't blame me. I'm always skeptical, and I should be skeptical, right? Shouldn't I? I should be skeptical, but I'm absolutely proved wrong. I'm proved wrong. The boy is good. The boy is good. If Arsenal can keep that up, that's all I'm asking for. If Arsenal can keep that up, we are good to go. Right. What are people saying in the chat? Make sure you're giving me your thoughts. Okay. Ramsdale serves against Lucas Moura, and so on. Fantastic. I think it had taken some good time without Arsenal having such a good goalkeeper, right? And we need the consistency. If he can keep the consistency, because that's one of the things I'm asking for. Consistency from the lads, right? Consistency from the lads. I need I need consistent. I need very consistent performances. I need them. But it's a good one. It's a very very good save. They're very very good saves, by the way.
Yep,
Yep.
yep. Um, yeah, thanks for having me on your show today. It's a very happy day for all Arsenal fans.
Yeah, it
It was the
is, isn't
first
it?
game where we scored more than one goal, so it's a great result. I think everyone gets a 10 out of 10 in the team.
No,
Everyone put in a
no.
shift. I was very impressed by Ramsdale. Aubameyang getting a goal, so that's like I think two in a row or two in 3 games.
Yeah,
That's very encouraging. So everyone gets a 10 out of 10 because we needed to score more than one goal. We needed to get a win against. Remember, Spurs are Arsenal's most bitter rivals,
yeah,
so this will boost the confidence of the players. And this is a very, very, very young team, and I think that Arteta seems to be going back in stride again. There was a bit of a few selections that I didn't like, but maybe Arteta knows the players more in training than I do. I would have preferred Emil Smith Rowe and Odegaard in central midfield with Partey behind them. And I would have preferred at least Pepe or Martinelli on where Emil Smith Rowe was playing. But apart from that, I think everything was brilliant, everything's going great. And I think everyone deserves a 10 out of 10. I think the only downside, the only player that I feel wasn't didn't would I'll give like an 8 or 9 is maybe Ben White with the penalty he conceded. I think Ben White has been very, very shaky at Arsenal. He's been good, but he's been very, very, very shaky. In at least every game, he's making the type of mistakes that would get punished against the very elite teams. Man City, Chelsea, Liverpool, those types of elite teams will punish you with those type of mistakes. I think Ben White is the only one who doesn't quite get a 10, maybe an 8 or 9, but everyone else get a 10. I think it was a brilliant performance. We needed the win against Tottenham. We needed a way to boost the moral and the confidence of the players and the team and the fans, the whole club, because the atmosphere was becoming toxic. And sometimes you need these type of performances against your biggest rival or a derby, your neighbors, in order to boost confidence across the whole club. And Arteta's subs, which was Tavares, Ainsley Maitland-Niles, and I think Klokonga, he brought on defensive players. And he took off attacking. So you can tell he wanted to close out the game. He wanted to seal the game and job done. And this just shows you Arteta has a plan in mind. At least Arteta in me, I like to compare him to Oli at Manchester United because they have Oli is a bit more experienced, maybe 2-3 years more experience in management. But in terms of their former players, being given a chance to imprint their DNA into the club, into the team. They're both young managers, and I think Arteta is performing better than Oli at the job. So that's an encouragement sign. I do think we still need to sign 1 or 2 players in January, maybe another striker. What other position do I? Maybe we need to sign another striker. A goal scorer. And I said Arsenal are looking at Jovic at Real Madrid, 23 years old. He's a striker at Real Madrid. And Arsenal also looking to swap Xhaka for the American central midfielder at Juventus. I don't quite remember his name. So Arteta is still trying to. And these two strikers, the striker and the player, Juventus player Arteta is looking to swap Xhaka for are both 23 years old. So they're trying to build a young team that would go on to challenge the elite teams in the Premier League. And I think if we get Aubameyang scoring boots on and the other players keep scoring goals, I think one thing is missing in Saka's game is goals. You
yeah,
feel me? We
yeah,
need goals from him. And the bench, another encouraging sign about this win is how strong Arsenal's bench was. A lot of people, our bench, we had Martinelli on the bench. I think we had Lacazette, I'm not sure. We probably had Lacazette on the bench. We had Lokonga on the bench. We had Tavares. We had Leno. We had a very strong bench. So it just shows you how strong this Arsenal team actually is. And if Arteta can motivate them and get the best out of them, to step up a level or two, we can actually see Arsenal challenging for maybe 5th or 6th place Europa League spot, at least 7th. Top 7 would be okay for me. It'll be a great season for us. I want to hear
Yeah.
what you think of the performance. But I think Ben White is he's too shaky, and I think he
Now,
needs to get his act together.
look with Ben, I don't think fast. Look, I don't think he's a project that you're just going to blow off and rely on at the moment. He's still that kind of long-term project. We know it's still that kind of long-term project that in the end it's going to take him 1 or 2 years to settle in at Arsenal. But one of the things you have to give credit for is he is playing in a new big team and is trying to catch up as fast as possible. Yes, he had a very bad game against Brentford, but I think again in the last 3 games he's tried to play better. He's tried to organize himself. He's tried to get himself get his confidence back and things like that. Yeah, he's a little bit shaky. He's doing the simple mistakes. A defender of his caliber shouldn't be making, but we've got to accept it. He's young for a defender, 23 years of age. You're that young, and we're going to see more mistakes from him. It's the same thing with Gabriel. Yes, at times it's good, but we're going to see more mistakes from them. They are very, very young centre back partnership, and we expect that since the moment Arsenal decided to go for a young project. Now we know it's either a young project that takes us where we want to be, or a young project that fails. But at the moment, I don't think he's too bad, right? He's not, and I think it's a very, very good thing that Tomiyasu is playing with him, on the right hand side of the pitch, because Tomiyasu doesn't actually travel a lot, and doesn't, he's not so adventurous, so he could actually help him out. What do you think? Do you see Ben White becoming better? Probably if he plays 10 games in a row, do you see him becoming better and solid?
Obviously, I think Ben White is an upgrade on David Lewis because the mistakes he's making is not as comical as the type of mistake David Lewis or even Mustafi was making. So we've obviously improved in
Yeah,
defense slightly.
he's an absolute upgrade to Squadron Mustafi and Robo Holding.
And in the next 10 games, I think that he's obviously going to keep improving. 23 years old for a centre back, not even for a fullback, for a centre back is very young. And a lot of
Yeah.
people don't realize that 23 for a goalkeeper in Aaron Ramsdale's case is like a 17-year-old outfield player. Yeah, very,
Yeah.
very young players in those positions because those players can play well into their mid-30s. So I think he's going to keep improving. And remember, he's beginning to put a new partnership with Gabriel. And he also has to get used to playing with Partey in front of him. So, he will get better as time goes on. But I think the one thing in mind is that next season, when Saliba comes back, I think Saliba is good enough. Saliba is playing so good in Marseille that his stats puts him as one of the best young defenders in Europe. And he's playing at the same level as Ben White. And I think if Saliba comes back next season, I'd like to see Saliba brought back in January, but probably not going to happen. But if Saliba does come back in January, in next season or at least January, whatever, I think he's good enough to challenge Ben White for that position. And if you look at Saliba's performance in Marseille, it's absolutely brilliant. And I want to see what Arteta does when because we can't take Saliba out on loan for next season again. So he'll be obviously be coming back into the team. And I'd like to see if it's going to be Saliba or Ben White for the centre-back position. Another encouraging sign that I've heard from Arsenal is the swapping of Xhaka for the American central midfielder. He's a brilliant player, very good Juventus, very good box-to-box midfielder. And I think we're seeing encouraging signs from Arteta. The only thing about Arteta is that I don't quite know his style of play. Is he a defensive coach? Is he possession? I think he's a possession-based coach, a coach that likes to play.
I think now, with the kind of team that he has and with the kind of team that he's picking, you know what he wants to do. He wants to have that ball for some time and then pass it at a very, very sharp rate. You saw it against Spurs in the first half. What he did is get this ball, keep it, but try to expose all the spaces. More like the Manchester City kind of style. They try to exploit you. They try to pick the pockets of space. He wants to have the ball, possess it, but also try to use use those pockets of space to destroy the enemy. I don't think he's a defensive coach, and I also don't think he wants to play on the break. If you look at the goals that we've scored, yes, two of them were actually goals, were goals on the break. I think the Saka goal is a goal on the on the break, and then the Aubameyang goal is also a counter attack goal. But the first goal is more of his typical kind of goal. He wants, and that's why he loves players like Martin Odegaard and Smith Rowe to be in the team altogether, because he knows with them he can create more chances. With them, he can be that kind of, he can have that kind of team that can, be relied on to create chances. So I don't think he's a counter-attacking manager. I also don't think he's a defensive manager. I think he wants to keep the ball, retain it, and then just pick out pick out those players, pick out those passes, and then a bit like Dortmund, a bit like Pep Guardiola and Manchester City.
Yep, I think he's done a brilliant job.
Yeah.
We have to give him credit when credit's due. We have to criticize him when we have to criticize him. This is a 10 out of 10 coaching by Arteta. And I think that we the bench was very strong. There was no. I think the second half Arsenal did drop off. I wanted to see Arsenal absolutely kill off Spurs with at least 2 more goals, at least one more goal to build momentum. Maybe get a second goal, beating them 5-0, 5-1. That would have really put them to the sword.
Yeah.
But I don't think Tottenham would have allowed it. I think in the second half we saw Ndombele really making strides into the Arsenal final third, really threatening Arsenal, and I think he was.
And I think Arteta has learned his lessons. Any manager any manager would expect that. You've beaten Spurs 3-0 at halftime. They have nothing to lose. They're coming back to throw everything under under the pass. They want to throw everything. If you're playing poker, you're playing all your cards now on the table because you have nothing to lose, right? So what he did is like, I'm gonna make it hard for them, and he absolutely made it hard for them. He killed the tempo of the game. No spaces, for Spurs to run into. If you look at that goal they scored, and the Lucas Moura, chance again, it's some bits of switching off, but I think the game management was absolutely excellent. So I didn't expect him to come and try to kill off the game, right? But he did it, and I enjoyed it. I absolutely enjoyed it.
Yep, and that shows that maybe him closing the game also shows a sign of a very good manager. He
Yeah, yeah,
feels, you know
probably
what,
future.
job done. 3 points
Yeah.
is the most important thing. On to the next game, and this is a positive result. Especially, this is the type of moral boosting confidence Arsenal players and Arsenal fans needed. A win over a rival, and Arsenal fans are going to be buzzing. And this is exactly what we needed for the win. And I want to talk about Aaron Ramsdale's save. What a save! You feel me? We felt we needed a goalkeeper to come in and challenge Leno. And even me felt he was a level below Leno. I knew he was a good shot stopper, but I thought it was a level below Leno. But he's proven to be the bargain signing of the season. What a save. He was, the ball swerved, he went backwards, and then he had to use his other arm to actually save the ball. What a save. And he's making brilliant save after brilliant save. He's keeping clean sheets. He's not conceding goal. He's commanding the box. And I think his handling of the goal is actually better than Leno. And I think that it was a brilliant performance. It was a brilliant performance all in all. The only thing I thought that is lacking is the precision and the effectiveness and the killer instinct that I would like to see. And that would only start if Aubameyang really starts getting 2 goals a game, hat tricks to get in a stride. But the
Yeah.
encouraging thing is Emil Smith Rose is scoring goals, Saka is scoring goals, Odegaard is scoring goals. Because remember, back in the day, we just relied on Aubameyang to be the only goal scorer in the team. But now Odegaard is scoring, Emil Smith Rose is scoring, Saka is scoring. So goals are finally being spread out in the team, and that's what we needed. Because Aubameyang would have felt he's the only one carrying his team. Opposition fans would have felt, you know what, we deal with Aubameyang's goal scoring threat, we kill this Arsenal team. They will not get goals. But now with Saka scoring goals, Emil Smith scoring goals, and Odegaard scoring goals, it looks like the Arsenal team has scores all over the pitch. Now, other opposition managers no longer have to worry just about Aubameyang. They now have to worry about other goal scoring threats on the team. So I think that's a massive positive to the fact that we got different goal scorers last game and today. What do you think of that?
You know, uh, you know, I think you're right. I think you're right. The more the team provides more goals, as a team. You don't leave it to just a couple of individuals. It's how it's how modern football works now. Look at City. They even don't have a striker, right? They don't even have a striker. Like, they don't have that kind of typical striker, but they're absolutely brilliant. They're doing it. They're scoring the goals. The same thing goes for the likes of Liverpool. Salah, Mane. They're playing false nine. The likes of Jota, the Rom Deuters. And they're getting points, and they're scoring goals. So I think it's going to be very important that we create more chances for Aubameyang, but it's even going to be more important that the likes of Smith Rowe and Saka try start scoring more. And that's why in my preview of the season, in my season preview, I had thought probably Pepe could be the key. And the reason that's why I thought Pepe would be the key is simply because he has that ability to give you more goals. He has that ability to add more goals to the table, to add more goals to the team. But I think I was wrong. I don't know if I was wrong, about him, but he just gets, it just seems to get, retarded instead of going, forward. But you make absolutely brilliant and spot on points. We've got to get more goals from, the other points, of the pitch. Saka, Smith Rowe, and maybe Martinelli should be getting chances because we know how good he is at scoring goals. And then the other thing is create more chances for Aubameyang. I said it against Burnley in the 6 things we learned. The more chances we create for Aubameyang, the more effective, the more important it's going to be for us. But you're right. You're absolutely right. I do agree with you.
Yeah, and also I think that the other you talked about Pepe.
Yeah.
I think Pepe obviously hasn't lived up to his price tag of £72 million, but there could be other reasons why. Maybe a team performing poorly. I think that Saka and Martinelli should be ahead of Pepe in the pecking order. Pepe has been Arsenal's second or third highest goal scorer and assist in the last 2 seasons. But I think Martinelli, Saka is definitely, when we play Pepe on the right wing and we play Saka on the left, Saka is ineffective on the left wing. When we played him on the right today, as we did in the last match, when he cuts in and he links up play, he's the best link up player we have in the team. And he links up play and makes things happen. He's a lot more effective on the right wing than Pepe. That's why Arteta played him there instead of Pepe. And I was actually happy to see Arteta not play Pepe today at all, because he needed to see what Saka can do in the full 90 minutes on that right wing, something he's never seen done before. Another thing was that on the left wing with Emerson, I don't know if Martinelli is right-footed or left-footed. I think he's left-footed.
Yeah, he's left-footed.
Yeah, that might be the reason why he prefers to play Emerson Smith Rowe on the right wing. So Emerson Smith Rowe can cut in, create chances, link up play, and score goals, which a left-footed player can't. That might be the reason why. So I think that Pepe and Martinelli now have to compete with Saka on the right, which they're obviously not going to win out. So I think Pepe and I would like to see Emerson Smith Rowe and Odegaard in the middle. I like to see Pepe and Martinelli compete for the left-hand side. And I think that I like to see Martinelli get more chance because he's a big goal-scoring threat. But I think that sometimes it's good to put Pepe on the bench for full 90 minutes because it makes him realize in training he now has to step his game up. If he's scoring just 2-3 goals per training, now has to score 7-8 goals per training, he needs to step his game up to convince Arteta why he needs to be in the team in the first place. It's the same thing with Leno and Ramsdale in the goalkeeping position. It's the same thing with a lot of positions. Players have to step again. Sometimes competition is healthy because it makes players step up a level or two. But I think that Saka for sure is going to bench Pepe permanently. I think Saka is way too good at the moment. He's young. Yeah. Even Man City and Juventus are in for him. They want to sign him.
Yeah, but I think that absolutely, and it's absolutely crazy, absolutely crazy. Thank you so much, Quench, for coming on. Brilliant stuff. I'll have Purpose on as well. Thank you so much, Quench, for coming on. Spoke about the fact that Saka is wanted by City and Juve, and of course that those stories are there. Purpose, how are you doing, bro? And how are you feeling about that 3-1 victory, North London derby?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you, bro?
Yeah, I'm absolutely fine.
Yeah. We battered them. Yeah. Today, I think was the best performance we've had under Arteta, for sure. I think the fans, they helped us a lot today. We've seen, games without the fans, it makes a big difference. And today we saw the
Yeah,
advantage of having them there. Um, I think now Arteta has his players that he wanted. So for him, there's no excuse like for him to fail now. For me, he has to go and try and get, European football and proper European football, not this Conference League, this like Champions League, and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm happy. The performance was great. I think the second half, I don't blame that because, we're already 3-0 up. That's what happens, isn't it? But yeah, the performance was good. I saw players today playing or doing things that I don't usually see. Like Odegaard, he was running about, winning the balls, second like his passes as well, 1-2 touch. I think Aubameyang as well, winning headers. We never really see Aubameyang win headers. So that was good. Everyone did a great performance, man. I'm happy. I'm extremely happy.
yeah, yeah. I mean, every Arsenal fan. This is the first time you can't be contented. A lot of positives and less negatives. But like, I'm gonna ask you this purpose. Do you think it is time for Arsenal? Have we started? You know, because if I'm a Wolves supporter, if I'm a Brighton supporter, the performances are coming, and the results are coming with good performances, right? So we've got a good result and a good performance. Have we started? Is it is this it?
Um, maybe. I don't want to be too sure because we saw it last season where we got good run of form and then we just went backwards. We had a bad run of form, so it was patchy. But I think this year we got a better squad than what we had last season. So I think we can finish higher than we did last season. So maybe in
Yeah,
that
yeah,
way we are starting. Because I look at our defense. We've actually got a good defense this year. Like last season, I know we didn't concede too many goals, but we had Rob Holding, Mari, Bellerin. These guys, they're not gonna go a full 90 minutes without making a mistake. And with these guys, what we got now, they make a huge difference. We saw Tomiyasu at right back. Son was this like he disappeared until his goal. He disappeared, and that's what happens when you buy quality. And we need more of that. I think maybe in striker. I know Aubameyang scored today, but maybe we might need another quality player backup. We've got Martinelli. Maybe he can do that job. I'm hoping he's doing that job. But yeah, man, I'm happy. I think, yeah, you're right. Probably we have started. I think we're ready now. Next game is Brighton, so that's going to be a difficult
yeah,
challenge. So they've been playing well. So I think that's going to be a good test to see where we are. Because usually big games, I'm quite confident, especially like at the Emirates and like other places or so. But Brighton is going to be a tough game, I think, for us. So I want to see us
yes.
there.
Yeah. It's gonna be an ultimate test. We've got to
Yeah.
agree to that. It's gonna be the ultimate test. The Brighton game. And my question for you is: after Brighton, we'll go into the international break. It will be 2 weeks. If Because after the international break, we have Crystal Palace, which we can beat. Well, if we are lucky,
We
and
can tell
well,
Vieira to let us win. We can tell Vieira, hey, give us the win.
yeah, yeah, exactly. But then you have Aston Villa, you have the likes of Liverpool there. If we lose 3 games in a row after the international break, um, where do we go from there? Do we sack Arteta? Do we do we just stand there and
For
where do
me,
we go from there?
it depends how we lose the game because I think if you were to sack him, the perfect time to sack Arteta was after Villarreal. That was the perfect time to sack him. You bring in it like a manager who's ready for next season. But now we're starting to get on a run of form. Maybe now he's starting to get the rhythm, the good environment out of the squad. As for me, it's like I said, the way we lose those games really makes a difference because if we lose the game and we played very poorly, then you have to question the manager because then you'd be like, this is not the first time it's happened. But if you lose the game fighting like we did today, but the other team was they're just better than us or they just had a couple chances and took them, then I'm okay with that. But for us, I think we still mustn't get carried away. Arteta is still hugely inexperienced for this job. I
Yeah,
don't think he has the the capabilities to take us into a season where we're actually challenging for something. That's my only worry with him. I think we can see when the pressure is off, this team always delivers. When the pressure's off, we ended the season well. Like we won 5 Premier League games in a row. But when there's pressure, that's the only worry for me with this manager. But look, I want to try and be positive. We just battered Tottenham. So yeah, man. Look, the next game, like I said, if we can get a win there before international break, that's great. Then we go back into the next batch of games on a good end.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for coming on purpose.
No worries,
Thank you so
bro.
much for your
No,
reaction
no worries.
as well. I want to say shout out to Isaac or Tim who says big up to Tomiyasu. I'll say big up to Medi in Mengo. Big up to Quincy. Thank you for coming as well. Kenneth, big up to you. And then Emeka Bernard as well. Alan saying, Kosi, can Ivan Tony be a good player for us? What do you think, Purpose? What do you think, Ivan Tony? I think he's a bully, and I do like bullies for strikers. Do you think he's got the skill, the skill set, and the requirements to play at a big stage? Because I think he's already done it at Brentford in the Championship. So is he ready for the big stage?
With him, I think we have to see with like him in the Premier League, because playing in the Championship, I understand, because when he was playing in the Championship, he was playing with a good team, so he scored a lot of goals. So maybe he's a player that he needs good players, and then he'll score more goals. But I think with him, what I like about him is he's able to create opportunities for himself. Even like
Yeah,
if
absolutely. Yeah,
even if
absolutely.
Brentford are not doing well, he's managing to either create opportunities for himself or his teammates. Like yesterday, he scored a goal. I know it was offside, but that was like a great finish.
Yeah, a great finish, and the chance. I think, was it yesterday? Yeah, still was it yesterday? Yeah, I think the flick on. I think it
Yeah,
was
yeah, that was yesterday. Yeah,
yeah,
yesterday.
the flick on for the first goal. But in that game against Spa, well, it's not Spurs, it's Wolves, right?
Wolves, yeah, Wolves. He
Yeah,
did well
he
there.
sets up Brian Wemo well. It's a great assist by the very, 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 very strong assist. So I think he's just the kind of striker that he will create chances for whoever is partnering him, and he creates chances for himself. I don't know. Do you think he can succeed? Aubameyang probably. Next season we could try him, give it a try.
Yeah, why not? I think he's something we haven't had in quite a while. Like you said, he's a bully, and he's not
Yeah.
just like any type of bully like Chris Wood. He just bullies and that's it. He can actually play. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So that yeah, man. Look, I think this season for me, I just want to see maybe like 10 goals from him at Brentford. If he can do that, I'll definitely say he can come in and replace Aubameyang and Lacazette for sure.
All right. Thank you so much, Papas. Big up to
No worries.
Kennedy. Big up to Ocord, Godfrey. Big up to Anu, who says, because I think I'm beginning to see my Arsenal trying to come up. Ramsdale kept us in the game. Yeah, that was a super save. That was a super save. Papas, last question, then we close the show. Leno is, I don't know, has Leno done too much damage so that to be dropped? And do you think the structure we are building suits Ramsdale as goalkeeper? What do you think?
Yeah, I think Ramsdale he suits this team more than Leno. I think Leno is the type of keeper where I think when you are not trying to play from the back and you're just trying to have a goalkeeper that can save the ball, that he'll suit perfectly for that. We saw it with Unai Emery, where he was actually doing well for us then. But now with Arteta, he wants him to play with his feet. He wants him to position himself, like commanding the box. And Ramsdale does that better than him. Like today, I saw like Ramsdale, he's just saying, okay, guys, I'm going to kick it long this time. He's not all the time short. He knows what he's doing. He has confidence. And like, he's a great shot stopper. Last season, because he was at Sheffield United, he was conceding a lot of goals because their defense was not good. Now you've got a couple of good defenders in front of him. You can see the quality he has. And today he made a fantastic save. I think it was Moura.
Actually, two of them. The Son save was also.
Yeah, he nearly saved that as well.
Yeah. Means $1 million save. Yeah.
Yeah. No, but that was. I feel more confident with him in goal. I'm not sure if like you would agree with me. Like when the ball comes in the box, I'm confident he's gonna catch it. When he has the ball at his feet, I'm confident he's gonna find the player. And then shot stopping, he's kind of similar to Leno, where he's good at that. So for me, I don't see Leno getting back into the team only for cup games.
Yeah, absolutely. Inter Milan wants him. I think he could go to Inter. He could go back to Germany. Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know. Let's give Aaron Ramsdale more time. One thing I love about him is that he's a goalkeeper that can keep you in a game. Right?
Yeah, definitely.
That can keep you in the game, and every team has that goalkeeper in the league now. Every team, almost every team, has that kind of goalkeeper that can keep you in the game. So I think he solves the problem of the of the goalkeeping insecurity, doesn't he?
Yeah. For me, now Ramsdale's back. I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but I don't really care about Martinez anymore now. I don't really have that worry. I forgot about him. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying he's not good. Martinez is a great goalkeeper, but last season everyone was saying, "Oh, we could have had Martinez. We could have had Martinez." Now I don't question that anymore. I'm thinking we've got our own goalkeeper, younger. He looks more hungrier than him. I saw him today celebrating. Saves, blocks. That's what I like to see. So I'm happy. I'm really happy with that signing, and I hope he really works out for us.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, Papos, for coming
No
on.
worries.
Great, bro.
Thank you.
All right, guys, we will call it a show. It's been our match reaction and of course highlight show. Arsenal beating Spurs. I was about to say Brentford. Right, Arsenal beating Spurs 3-1 in the North London derby. What a performance! And probably we should keep it up. Speak to you in the next one.